Yo, it's No Filter. I've been playing 6 brand new puzzle games on Nintendo Switch. The Switch, it's portable, perfect for puzzle games. 2 of these are must-buys, 2 of these are maybes, and 2 of these are stay away. Here they are. These first 2 games are must-buys. The first one, Golf Peaks. Golf Peaks is a isometric golf-based puzzle platforming type game where essentially you have cards that are set per each level that have a certain number on them. Each number corresponds to the amount of spaces you can hit your ball. The levels are basically grid-based levels that have different platforms at different heights. They have each different grid cell will have a different ability to it, whether it's just a plain cell that your ball would just roll on, or if it would have like a trampoline that would then bump that up to a higher level if you hit it. A lot of different variations in that way, but each level will have the set number of cards that will have a certain amount of hits and how far you can hit them, and you need to get that ball into the hole. Each level is its own thing, and you have a certain amount of hits as per your cards, and it's a lot of fun to try to piece your way through finding the best way to get to the hole in the right amount of time using the correct cards at the right time, and it's really kind of fluid in how you find the different solutions for each level. Each level will progressively get harder. You'll have more cards, but the game gives you all the options that you need to restart or go back one shot, so you never feel like you're going through a puzzle, getting towards the end, and then realizing, oh shit, I used the wrong card here, and I should have used this last one. You can always just go, backspace basically, and restart wherever you need to. So it's really user-friendly for it. It's a game that doesn't really need to have music. You can play perfectly while watching TV in the background, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I think it's a must-buy on Switch. It's really perfect for the system. This next game is a must-buy, but it does come with a little bit of a caveat. You need to be able to play this co-op with a friend. It is called Pitfalls Planet, and it is a lot of fun playing co-op. Think of a game similar to it. I would compare it to Death Squared that came out on the eShop not too long ago. However, in Pitfalls Planet, you're playing as 2 different astronauts that have crash landed on a planet, and you need to find your way out of there. The planet has a lot of different traps and platforms that you need to maneuver around in, but you can't jump. So one way that you can do that is by throwing your partner or whoever else you're playing with onto a different platform where they can then activate switches or be a distraction and maneuver enemies away from you so you can go towards the end goal. The game is completely co-op based. You can play it single player. However, again, I do highly recommend playing this co-op if you're going to pick this one up. It is a must-buy if that is the case, in my opinion. Really well made, and you'll really enjoy it, especially with a fellow player along with you in couch co-op. The next game is a maybe from me. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I do think that other players out there that have different tastes than I do will enjoy this a lot more than I did. This game is Treasure Stack, that is very similar to games like Tetris or Wario's Woods, for example. I had a lot of fun with it for what it was, but where I have a hiccup here is the game is mostly dependent on online, something that I don't really care about in my games as much. So when I was playing it, I found that the single-player content lacked for me, and it kind of annoyed me because the gameplay mechanics themselves are really good, and why I wanted to highlight this here, but it just was not a long enough game with levels for me to go through or anything like that. It was much more focused on the online component, which does work for what it is. But the gameplay mechanics themselves are really cool, where you have to match the blocks together, how you can jump up and you can basically shoot a hook shot that carries the blocks down quicker to you. You can jump up to the top of different blocks where you are, and it's a lot of maneuvering as if it's a platformer, as well as a typical block stacking puzzle game. But it focuses a lot more on online than I wished. So if a lot of people are more into the online aspect of puzzle games and being better than the other players that you're playing against, I would recommend this for you. But for me personally, the single player content kind of dropped off a little bit quick for me, and I just wish it had a little bit more to it. The next game is a very simple puzzle game, but perfect for when you're playing on a TV. It's called Box Align. Now, I'm putting this in the maybe column because it's it's not anything too revolutionary, but what it does very well. Box align, essentially you just need to match up colored blocks in a 3D isometric view. You can zoom in, zoom out, move around, but it is entirely in 3D. And one of the other reasons I put this in a maybe is because the controls feel a little bit wonky. It's almost a must for handheld touch play, because using the control sticks to move and select different blocks just is not very intuitive and just didn't work too well for me. But a lot of the puzzles are really cool. It ramps up pretty quickly, but it really is a lot of fun to kind of figure out the way to play. So essentially you'll have a stack of cubes in the center of the level. You get to select a cube that would then basically move that cube to a different location. If you match 3 of them together, whether vertically, horizontally, those will disappear. Any cubes above them or beside will kind of fall down, and then you can get kind of chain reactions going together, and it's a lot of fun like that. But again, it's just not anything too revolutionary, but I think it is a pretty good game if you just need a game to sit and veg to while watching Game of Thrones Season 8 or something like that. Now, the last 2 games are skips for me. I did play them for a little bit, and I just could not get into these whatsoever. First one I want to go over is called Circuits. Now, this game does what it does, and it does it fine. There's no issues with what the game is in how it's made, but for what the game is, it is just doesn't work for me. Games like this that are easy, kind of puzzle games like this, I want to be able to do something else while I'm playing them. This game does not allow me to do that. This game is focused almost entirely on music, which is just crazy to me for a puzzle game, you know? I want to be able to listen to music while I'm playing a puzzle game or watching a movie or whatever the case is. This one requires you to listen in full blast to the music, because the circuits that you need to run, basically you can play through this existing circuit, listen to the tunes that are playing at different nodes, and then you need to match nodes that you have in a selection at the bottom of the screen to a copy circuit to match whatever was made in the demo playthrough of the music that's playing. It's, you know, what it does fine. The mechanics are there, it's all there. It's just what the game is itself just does not click with me whatsoever, and I would say this is a skip for me for sure. Circuits on Switch. And the last game that is definitely a skip for me is called Spellkeeper. So Spellkeeper, it's a game that you can probably find on any other iOS device for free. It does not do anything special in any way whatsoever. It doesn't look too great, and it just doesn't give you the satisfaction when you're actually completing the puzzles. It's just kind of, you're working through it, nothing special happens, doesn't look great, doesn't really, you know, give you any kind of adrenaline boost when you beat any of the levels. So essentially what the game is you have a light source, you need to direct that light to then hit all the diamonds on that level. You'll have different little nodes that you can put at different spots that'll hit the existing light source and then direct light down a certain path, and you can put another node where that path goes, then that directs to hit diamonds on a level. And the levels do get a lot more difficult. There are quite a few of them. But again, you're just kind of doing the same thing, and it just didn't really grab me like a lot of these other games that I talked about earlier did. So that is the last game that I'm going to talk about here. So that is 2 games that I think are must-buys, 2 games that are kind of maybes depending on your taste in games, and 2 that I would say you should stay away from, that you should skip. So there it is, guys. There's my video of 6 puzzle games, new puzzle games for Nintendo Switch. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.